Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Building You podcast, hosted by yours truly. I'm so excited to put everything that I can into this podcast. It's been sitting in the back of my mind for a long time, and I'm doing it. If you're watching the video, I have my show notes here, and I'm feeling wildly uncomfortable. So I'm going to be checking them here and there if it feels like I'm not making eye contact with you. Where do I start? If you don't know me, my name is Aza. I'm 22. I would normally introduce my profession first, but I've been really trying to change that around and introduce myself, who I am. So while I am a full-time personal trainer, I am also an artist. I am a creative at heart. I am an athlete. I'm a listener, a learner, and a really good yapper, which is why I'm here. I can talk a lot. The Building You podcast has been a sweet little seed in the back of my mind for about a year now, and I've just been kind of waiting for the energy to give it a little nudge, give it a little water, and I think I'm here. I think I'm ready. What if there was a platform where we could just talk about everything, not the silly little entertaining distractions, as fun as those can be, but the things that we all wonder about and have no idea where to start. Just no idea where to start. I want to be better for myself, for the people around me. I want to be healthier. I want to move better. I don't want to worry about the silly little things that have no control over me. Will I ever feel like an adult? This is why I'm creating this podcast, because I feel like we all have a lot of questions and we all are struggling with our own things. And I feel like a lot of people are struggling with the same things. We just don't have anywhere to reach others that are going through the same things, which really sucks. So here we are. Welcome to the Building You podcast. I can feel your eyes roll, or maybe not. Maybe you believe in me, but I can feel your eyes rolling if you're saying, Aza, you're 22. What do you know? Like, how can you help me through my divorce? How can you help me through my business collapse? How can you help me shed weight during menopause? I could say you're right. You're right. I am younger. I know that there is decades of experience that I'm missing, but I also know that we have the same goal: to build ourselves to be the person that we want to be, the person that we're meant to be, to grow and to expand, to be at peace. And I'm glad that you're here so we can do this together. So here's an entire rundown of my life up until this point, so you can get a general idea of the experience that I've had and what has shaped me into the person that I am. The first bullet point, for those of you who don't know me, this sums it up. The first bullet point that I have written down here is that I was born. Like, thanks. No way, Aza. Yes. So I was born, I was brought into the world just like all of us were. I have a younger sibling. He's 3 years younger than me. He was diagnosed with DiGeorge syndrome very early in his life. He's had 2 open heart surgeries. It was a whole thing. For those of you who don't know what DiGeorge is, it is a very rare syndrome, kind of similar to Down syndrome. It occurs when part of the 22nd chromosome is missing. So as you can imagine, that brought on quite a few obstacles for him, and it made those of us who cared for him have to adapt and change the way that we lived in a beautiful way. I wouldn't change any of it for a second, other than any of the painful experiences he's been through. The rest of it has been beautiful. I always bring up my brother when people ask me about me, partially because he is part of me. He is a big part of my life. And also because I think, and I've related to a lot of other people I've talked to who have siblings or family members with disabilities. It shaped me in a way that I don't know if you can really experience without it. It forced me to become a lot more independent at a young age, just because, there was a lot of attention on him, which is so understandable. So important. He needed that help. He needed that extra help. But because there was a lot of the attention on my brother, I was kind of left to my own devices. I had my parents. My parents were very involved in my life, but it was kind of just like I entertained myself, figured it out, And I think that definitely shaped me, or had a huge part in shaping who I am now. Because I like to think I'm incredibly independent, sometimes too much so. when my parents were pregnant with my younger brother, we moved to a smaller town in southeast British Columbia, Canada, for those who are not Canadian. It was a very sweet childhood, very, very small, sheltered community, beautiful community. It was pretty much an outdoor playground, so did a lot of stuff outside. The beauty of growing up in a small town is that, you could walk to and from your friend's house. There was 3 traffic lights in the whole city, so it was pretty chill. It was pretty chill, and a lot of freedom came with that, as you can imagine. In comparison to like an urban setting, there's just a lot more that we could do. So we're constantly out hiking, out camping, literally anything you can imagine that takes place outside. Been there, done that, which is, I'm very, very, very thankful for having those experiences as a child. I was very athletic as a kid, which obviously contributed to my love for sport. I am a personal trainer now. I love movement. I love getting out there. I love trying new things. I love getting after it. When I was a kid, my main sport was dance, competitive dance, but I also played rec soccer, did Olympic weightlifting. I did karate. What else did I do? I did gymnastics for a couple years, skied. I was from a ski town, so there was a lot of downhill skiing. What else did I do? Not me literally like blocking out my entire childhood. What happened? What did I do? What did I do? I boxed on and off. There wasn't really a boxing club, but there was a really cool guy that ran classes whenever he could, so I learned my fundamentals. And yeah, just overall, always out doing something. Always out doing something. I was dancing like 12 to 14 hours a week. I was Olympic weightlifting before school. I was on the soccer team. I was going to the gym on my own when I wasn't in a class. It was crazy. During this experience, I injured myself quite a lot. I physically burnt myself out quite a lot. I kind of just pushed myself to my limit until I collapsed. And then as soon as I was ready to get back up again, I did the same thing over and over and over and over again, which in hindsight is not great. But, we've all been a teenager. We've all had unlimited amounts of energy. You know how that cycle goes, which I think is definitely shows in my coaching now that I'm responsible for athletes and other clients. I'm very adamant on rest. I'm very adamant on, live to run another day, live to lift another day, right? Like, just taking care of your body is so important. And I wish I knew that when I was younger, when I was just chasing aesthetics, when I was chasing, just being number one. Not even number one, just being on the podium. I just wanted to be good. And I thought that meant that I had to literally run myself into the ground. I was a floater in high school. I had a lot of friends, but I was never really like part of any of the core groups. I just kind of was friends with everybody, floating around back and forth. And I think I still do that, honestly. I have a smaller circle, but I kind of just go where it makes me happy. And I'm content with that. I'm content with not being out every weekend. I'm content with not having huge groups of friends. It's a piece. I think that like when I was younger, part of me had, what do they call it? FOMO? FOMO? I hate that word. But like the fear of missing out. I think part of me when I was younger, I was like a little bit resentful of the fact that I never really felt like I clicked in any of the groups that were presented in high school. But I think now as a young adult, I'm cool. I love being at home. I love not going out all the time. I love being in bed at 10 at the latest. I love it. It's great. And I love my small, secure, tight group. It's fantastic. It's really all I could ask for. And to younger me, you're going to be fine. It's all good. All you need is a couple good friends. That's really it. And to any of you right now who are listening, if you are feeling like you don't have enough friends or you don't have a social network, first of all, look at the people in your life that are the closest to you, your immediate, like your best friend. Maybe you have 2 or 3 best friends, maybe your partner, just the people that you could like reach with at arm's length. Are they good? Are they good? Did they got you? Because that's what matters. It doesn't matter quantity, it matters quality. So if the people around you are good, if they're solid, you got nothing to worry about. What I would worry about is if you see yourself in a sea of people and not one of them has got you. Like deep down, you know if they've got you. All that to say, I was a floater in high school. Looking back, this part of the story makes me really sad, but I think that I need to talk about it because a lot of people probably have had the same experience or they're going through the same thing now, no matter where you are in life. I think looking back on hindsight, I truly did not like myself. And I think that a lot of people go through these stages where, you look in the mirror or just look into yourself and you're like, I don't like who I am. And I think that sometimes that's necessary to grow, but it is sad. It is really sad because we all deserve to like who we are, or at least like aspects of ourselves, if nothing else. And I think that me not liking myself was a slippery slope because it slipped into issues with food. It slipped into me trying to find external validation, and putting myself into situations with people that I should not have been in because I really just wanted them to like me because I thought if they liked me, then I could like me. And knock, 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 my silly little friend. That's not how this works. But again, I say all this to say, it is what it is. I can't go back and change the way that I behaved. I can't go back and change who I decided to interact with. I can't go back and change who I decided to put in my life or who I decided to trust. I can't go back and change that. I can't. But what I can do is I can sit here and say, why? Why did I do that? And yeah, I think deep down the reason was because I really just wanted to be loved. I've been doing a lot of research, not research. I've just been kind of listening and reading things on people pleasing and how people pleasing is not the funny, silly little thing that we think it is. It can actually be detrimental to the individual. I'm like, goddamn, am I a people pleaser? Yeah, I am a people pleaser. I think we all are to an extent, but I think that there's definitely a line that gets crossed. And that is something that I personally am really, really working on and trying to rewire in my brain. Like, okay, it's okay for me to want people around me to be happy, but my happiness shouldn't depend solely on how the people around me feel, right? Like I need to be able to be at peace with myself. And so that is something that I was struggling with at 16 and now at 22, I'm unraveling it. I'm figuring it out. We're taking it one day at a time, but that's what this is for. What's the next bullet point here? That was sad. Let's move on. COVID hit when I was 17. Yeah, pandemic. Let's talk about it. That was 5 years ago already. Dear God, 5 years ago. 17. I remember being 17, going on spring break, hearing that we were going to get an extra 2 weeks and just being like, yes, yes, yes. I was stoked. I actually graduated early because I just wanted to get out of the education system. I got my bare minimum of credits and I dipped. I had intended on working through the second semester so that I could move to Vancouver, where I now live. But yeah, I really wanted to take that second semester, get out of school, start working full time, and save up enough money so that I could get out of there. But, global pandemic happened. So that kind of it kind of put a damper on my plans. That's okay. Again, can't change that. Is what it is. Good times. I eventually made it out. I made it out of my little town. COVID had kind of settled. When I moved, though, COVID was coming back. It was coming back for its rerun in 2021. And so that was a little bit tricky, moving to a city with not really any job prospects. And even the small job prospects I had were kind of being threatened by COVID because the only option I had was to work in the restaurant industry. That was all I had. So I got a job at a restaurant, but restaurants were all closing down again because of COVID. So I was freaking out, right? How do I move to a city with no income and not very much saved? But I did it. And let me tell you, this was the most chaotic period of my life, or at least thus far, because I moved here with my whole life in the back of my car and about $2,500 to my name. And back then, I thought $2,500 was big adult money. I thought that was big bucks. I had a very skewed idea of finances. I had no idea. But I moved here with everything in the back of my first car. It was a RAV4, 2003 RAV4. And I was subletting an apartment from this guy. It was very, very hard for me to find an apartment just because of my age. I didn't really have a lot of credit history. I'd just recently gotten a credit card. So there was not a lot to depend on for landlords. But I found an apartment to sublet. And I was like, thank the Lord. Thank you. universe for giving me this chance. It took me months to find a place. I finally did. I got here with my life in the back of my car, and I was immediately greeted by the building managers who said, "Who are you?" And I said, "Hi, I'm Asa. I just drove for 9 hours to get here, and I'm living here now." And they were like, "Are you subletting from," I'm not going to say his name, let's say Jack. Let's say his name's Jack. "Are you subletting from Jack?" I said, "Yeah, I'm subletting from Jack. He's like a acquaintance." And they said, "Jack is not allowed to sublet. This is his third offense." And within like 10 minutes of rolling up to my new home, I was told I had 1 month to find a new place, and Jack was getting evicted from his apartment. So that was warm welcoming. If that wasn't enough, within 5 days, all the major roadways to and from Vancouver had washed out. I don't know if you guys are from here. If you remember, the atmospheric river of 2021 was freaking bonkers. The barge washed up in English Bay. The seawall was taken out. The highways were getting flooded over. There was no way I could go anywhere. Even if I had a place to go, or if I wanted to just go back home, I could not go. I could not go. So I had like T-minus like 2.5 weeks to find a new place. It took me 4 months to find this place. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. I did not know what to do. I remember feeling so defeated. I ended up finding a basement suite, and it was fine and dandy. I lived there for a year. Basement suites do not have a lot of light. I felt like I was in a dungeon, but that's okay. It was a roof over my head. I found it. It was good. Yeah, I started working in the film industry because I quickly learned the value of money. Like I said, I moved here with about $2,500 to my name, and I had started working at a restaurant, but the hours were not stable. I kept getting my hours cut. It was a real struggle bus. So I asked around. My dad gave me some of his old contacts from the film industry, and I was able to land a position on a massive TV show as a health and safety monitor, which was a department put into the film industry during the pandemic to ensure that workers and cast would not spread the virus. It was the only way that they could start filming again after the pandemic. It was an insurance thing. So that's how I got into film. That's how I started my film career, was just working because of COVID, because I didn't need any internal film experience. It was just, you know how to walk, you know how to answer a text in a group chat, that was it. So I took that chance. I took the leap. I took it. I ended up working on my first show for about 7 months. It was a grueling but fantastic experience. After 7 months on my first show, I was tossed onto another show, which was another fantastic experience, only this time I was the head of my on-set department. So at 19, I was in charge of people in an industry that I was very new in, and this hardened me quite a lot. There's already a lot of politics that came in terms of working health and safety, because obviously not everybody agreed on the rules when it came to COVID. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with when it came to how it was dealt with by the government, by small companies, but it is what it is. At 19, I was put into place to instill these rules, and also to manage inventory, and also to manage people's schedules, and also to make sure that everything was running smoothly on set. This was an insane experience. I actually ended up going up to the Northwest Territories and working up there for a bit. There was a lot of new things being thrown in my direction, and being a 19-year-old woman, I had to deal with my fair share of BS. There was a lot of awful encounters during this period, but also a lot of really great encounters. So both ways, I was given a lot of support. I believe that I was really liked in that position, but I also had to put my big girl boots on quite a few times and stand my ground, because people would walk over me if I let them, and I did not want to let them. Shortly after this, I started working in props, handling all the things that actors handle. And that was really fun. Had a great time. But then the film industry went on strike. Now what? Panic? And here's something that I did that I still think is nuts. I still think is crazy, but I did it and I survived. So picture this with me. You are 20 years old now. Your industry has all of a sudden stopped. Just stopped. There's no job opportunities. You don't have any degree. any diploma, any post-secondary education, barely any training in any other industry, barely have any savings. You save just enough. You learned how to save money just in time to have a small bit of savings, and then you decide to leave your relationship of 5 years. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that other than that I was not happy and things were not changing, but also everything was changing. So I just said, okay, let's go. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable, but what a time in my life. So I decided to leave my relationship of 5 years. I'd been in it for too long. I was kind of at my limit as to where I could grow in that relationship. I did not know where else I could go. I felt like I was like starting to like leach through the seams. I was trying to slow my grow rate so that me and my ex-partner could figure it out and grow together, but it was just we weren't syncing up. We weren't syncing up anymore, and that's okay. It's okay, you know. So we parted ways. And that unleashed a whole new set of obstacles, being financial, being that I had no employment, being that I was now in the city by myself, which was really, really scary. Thank God I had met my best friend in the world, and she helped me through this. She was fantastic. Hadley, if you're listening to this, I love you. I love you. Thank you for literally freaking saving my life, man. If I was 100% alone during that, I know I would have made it, but it would have been a whole separate playing field. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I made it out. And ever since then, it's been a wild ride because I made it until the end of the film strike. Film came back, and I had been in the gym and working with people and training myself nonstop since the strike went in because I had all of this newfound time. And I was just so happy being back in the gym again, and so happy being surrounded by people who were looking to better themselves. I was so happy being surrounded by people who, you know, had a positive outlook, who weren't sleep deprived, who were just taking control of their life. And I know that there's a lot of that in film, but there's a lot of unhealthy aspects in film. And I was finding that I was dragging myself to the dirt, trying to uphold my own expectations for myself. I was not sleeping. I was not eating right. I was not moving properly. I was standing for hours and hours and hours on end with concrete. My knees were hurting. I was gaining weight. It was not it. And after spending so much time in the gym during the strike and picking up boxing again and just being around a healthy environment was a real eye-opener. So when the film strike ended and I started going back to work, I was like, damn, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. At least not full time. I want to be back in the gym. And that was a sign to me. That was just like everything in my body was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. My priorities have shifted, and it was pretty simple to me. I was like, okay, that's that. I still took film jobs here and there, and I still do. I still do love the odd film day, but I went home and I started looking just for any job in a gym. I did not have my personal training certification at that point, so I was just looking for anything that could get me in a gym. I was applying to receptionist jobs. I was applying to be like social media content creator for a gym, just anything that I could do in a gym space. I was applying for just application after application after application after yada yada. And it was exhausting because it was like, no. And if anybody here listening has been applying for any sort of job over the last couple years, you know how sparse the freaking market is right now. And I always tell people, I'm a personality hire. People hire me for my personality, or at least they have in the past. And this whole online application thing, it don't work for me. It don't work for me. Like, I do have a good resume, but it's just, there's nothing on it that separates me from the masses. I don't have any degrees. I don't have a lot of paper, right? I just have pizzazz. If I have to apply online, you don't get to see my pizzazz. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this, as you could tell. But yeah, I applied for job after job after job. I was starting to feel a little bit defeated. I did not know how to break into this industry, but I got a DM from this tiny, teeny, tiny little gym that said, we are looking for a female boxing coach and trainer, and we would love to bring you in to talk to you. I remember it was just like, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. I've been begging for this opportunity. I've been waiting. And there it was, we had a phone call. I went into the gym a couple days later and I was just so at peace. That was it. That was that. And I've been there ever since because it was just the right thing for me. And I think looking back, it's like, girl, you were so stressed out, but the right thing was waiting for you. It was waiting for you and it was coming for you. And I think I'm trying to channel that energy now whenever I feel like I'm like, why isn't this coming to me? Why am I not figuring this out yet? Why? Because maybe if one of those other places had hired me, I would not have been happy. Maybe I would have had a bad experience. Maybe I would have been like, oh, well, I'm stupid. I should not have been in the fitness industry. What was that? And then I would have went back into film and I would have never had this beautiful career that I'm building now. The universe gives you what you want when you're ready. Enough said. To sum it up, over the last couple of years, I've been forced to learn a lot about myself, which has been rewarding. And I think that, this learning curve has to happen either way. I think I just condensed it into a couple of years. So I've been learning a lot about myself. And now I'm working with different people every day, variety of conditions, a variety of stages in their life. And it's just been so beautiful and so eye-opening. And I'm very, very thankful to have found myself here. Now, this is the first episode of Building You. So obviously you had to get to know me, which now you know everything about me. I'm a very open book. Now it's time to dig in. So last winter, when I was panicking and trying to apply to every single gym that you could possibly imagine, I decided that I wanted to try uploading to YouTube as well. Very, very, very quickly, I gave up on myself. That's okay. We're back. And I'm here on a freaking mission. But yeah, 11 months ago, I uploaded a video titled 10 Life Tips That I Wish I Knew Sooner, which is so funny to me because I feel like I've evolved so much since I sat down and filmed that video. I don't even recognize who I was in that video, but that's okay. I can see that she was on the right track. So without further ado, let's go through 2024 me's 10 life tips that I wish I knew sooner. Tip number 1, your environment matters. This one I still agree with. I think in the original video, I had mentioned that it's like your physical environment, the state of your apartment, the state of your room, the state of your closet, and so forth. I think that is still very much true. I know that when I start to slide mentally, I start to slack. My car gets a little bit messy. I don't do my laundry, that kind of thing. I think that the two of those go hand in hand. Like my environment starts slipping and then my mindset starts slipping. And then because my environment is a mess, I become a mess. And then because I'm a mess, my environment gets more messy. And it's just like an endless loop until eventually I decide enough is enough. And I finally get it done. So what I have done since I recorded that video 11 months ago is I've definitely been working on being more on top of my cleaning as I go. That is something I've never been very good at. My mom used to call me a tornado. She said she always knew where I was because I left a trail. And so I'm very sorry, Mom. I'm sorry that I did not learn how to avoid that until now. But I'm working on it, and I'm working on cleaning as I go so that I'm not left with an absolute disaster. So yeah, your environment matters. Okay, number 2, don't let your mood dictate what you do. That is something that is something that I did not practice back then, and I'm still really fighting to practice. Like when I get anxious, it's like I just want to wallow up and curl into a ball and be just an anxious pile of, yeah, I can't even describe it. I just want to like disintegrate, but then like be a little speck until I'm ready to become full size again. That's the wildest way I've ever heard anyone describe this. But it's really, really, really hard when you're in a certain mood to just simply get out of it. And that's something I'm really trying to do. But I do agree with that sentiment. Don't let your mood dictate what you do. It's just a mood. It's just a mood. And you're probably, if it's me, like I get upset about something and then like 5 hours later when I'm over it, I'm like, I can't believe I was going to let that ruin my day. So don't let it ruin your day. Get up and go for the walk that you said you were going to go for. Get up, do the thing you said you're going to do. You said you're going to do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. And again, easier said than done. And I like I said, I'm freaking fighting myself to do this every day. Like the days that I'm feeling unmotivated, the days that I'm feeling like nothing matters. Nothing I'm doing is working. Like those days, it's so hard. It is so hard to be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just like get on the Stairmaster. I don't want to get on the Stairmaster. I want to curl up into the field position in the back of my car until my next client comes in. But I'm not going to. I'm going to get on the Stairmaster because I know I'll be fine. But again, I'm fighting myself in here too. But try your hardest to not let your mood dictate what you do, because you deserve more than that. You are stronger than that, and you can do it. I believe in this. I believe in you. I believe in us. Yeah, that one I still agree with. Don't let your mood dictate what you do. Number 3. Movement creates energy. Yes, 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 yes. Movement creates energy. How many times have you gotten up and been like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, or I said I would today, or I don't want to run, but I said I would today, or I don't want to, like, right? You do it, you get up, you do it, and it's like the best workout of your life. Or you just feel slightly better after. Either way, that's a win, right? So you feel better than you did before. How many times have you done that? Me, every time. Every time I'm like, I don't want to. And like, I'm a personal trainer. I am making a living off of training other people. If there's one thing I value, it is movement. I know the importance of lifting weights. I know the importance of cardio. I know the importance of all this stuff. I preach it every day. And yet, I still don't want to do it. I don't want to do it sometimes. Most of the time, especially like during these winter months, I really have to be in the mood. But don't let your mood dictate what you do. Don't do it. Don't do it. And yeah, I know movement creates energy, because every time that I'm feeling sluggish, I don't want to do it. I do it, and then I feel so much better. I feel so much better, or I feel like looser, or at the very least, I feel proud of myself for pushing through. All of these are wins. Why not do it? Again, do it. Maybe one day we'll be sponsored by Nike. Just do it. Just do it. This is, yeah. Number 4, create realistic goals. This one is a big one. I'll build off of 2024 me's version of this. She said create realistic goals. I'm going to say create big goals and then create the little realistic goals. Like, have a big goal, but give yourself steps. Give yourself steps. Let yourself get to it, right? So, for example, okay, we all want $1 million, right? Let's say my goal is by the end of 2026 to have $1 million. Now what? How am I going to get there? What's step 1? What's step 2? What's step 3? What's step 4? What's step, how am I going to reach the $1 million? Maybe like a realistic goal is to have $1 million by the end of 2026. I don't freaking know how. If you know how, tell me, because I would love to have $1 million by the end of 2026. How can I expect to have $1 million by the end of 2026 when I don't even know where to start? I have no idea how to get there. I have no micro goals. So I think not necessarily realistic goals, because I think that the term realistic goal kind of sets you up to talk down on yourself. Because when I say a realistic goal, I feel like something that like I could accomplish today, something that's realistic for who I am right now. But maybe like a long-term big goal isn't realistic for you right now, but it's realistic for you eventually. Like having that $1 million. That's very realistic. A lot of people have gotten $1 million. Why can't you get $1 million? If your goal is to do an Ironman, could you do it today? No. So it's not realistic. But maybe like in a year you could do it, right? But the fundamental part of it is setting those little goals that get you to that big goal. So I agree with you, 2024 me. Create realistic goals, but I don't like the word realistic because I feel like it like narrows you down into like who you are right now. I think you need to think about the bigger picture. If you want to reach the goal by the end of 2026, who are you at the end of 2026? You don't know. So what's realistic for that version of you could be way different than what's realistic for you now, right? But now if you start setting those micro goals that will work towards you getting that big goal, that's what matters. That's what matters. I feel like I just said goal over and over and over again. So hopefully that makes sense. Number 5, you are what you eat. It's loaded. Yeah, but I agree. You are what you eat. I think when I was listening back to the original video, I had said when my parents mentioned this to me, I thought that they meant that I would like look like pizza. But I know that that's not at all what it is. I think that I'm going to expand this, not to just you are what you eat, but you are what you do. You are what you consume, right? If you only consume junk food, then your body is not going to be at its optimal health. If you don't move your body, it's not going to be in its peak athletic form. If you only consume celebrity drama and gossip, then you're not really learning. You're just consuming nothing. You're consuming food with empty calories. You're consuming content that has nothing really to give you other than a brief moment of entertainment. If you're not moving your body, then you're not building your body. You're not preparing your body for injury or for your later years. I think that you are what you do. And I think a lot of times people are really frustrated in their life. They're like, why don't I look the way that I want to look? Why don't I feel the way that I want to feel? How can you expect your body to give you good movement if you don't give it care? How can you expect to look like an athlete if you don't train like an athlete? How can you expect these things to just come to you? Right? So I think that I agree. You are what you eat. Your brain function, the way that your body functions, your gut health, all of that is reliant on your quality of food and the things that you're giving your body. I would like to expand it to more than just food, to content, to just everything that you consume. So if you want to change the things that you put out into the world, I think that a really, really good step is to change the things that you consume. If it's within your control, try to consume things that are good for your mind, good for your body, that make you feel better. I think that's really important, and I think you deserve that. Number 6, wait on things. Okay, I want to go back to what I said about how I got this dream job and how they reached out to me, and it was after I was frantically applying to every single job I could possibly find that I could maybe be hired for. Wait. Take initiative, but wait. I think what I initially meant when I wrote this, or when I talked about this on the last video, was to process things before you make decisions. I have a history of being very spontaneous, wanting things right now. Like, I want this, I'm going to buy it right now. I want to move, I'm going to move right now. I want this, I'm going to do this right now. Right? Just making split-second decision without really thinking about the bigger picture. But I think it's because I hadn't dealt with like the fallout of things as much yet. So I just didn't really realize the consequences of some of my actions. And yeah, I've definitely been learning to just wait. Just wait. This year, I am not buying anything new. I've made it an initiative. I will replace something if one of my beloved articles of clothing or anything breaks or runs out. I will replace it, but I'm not buying anything new. I'm not adding any new material into my life. But last year, I was trying to implement just waiting on things. If I saw something, I thought it was cute, I wanted to buy it, or I thought it was interesting, I wanted to buy it, I would wait. If I still want it in 48 hours or in a week, then I'll go back and get it. But right now, I think I just want to buy something. Love spending money. I was so good at spending money. I was so good at it. But I think it's really important to sometimes wait and see if it's something that you truly want, or if it's an active impulse, or if you're just looking for instant gratification, or, why do you really want to buy this? Why do you really want to move? Why do you really want to do this? Why do you really want whatever you're about to make a decision about? Why do you really want it? Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Do you want to take a second and breathe? This is me talking to myself. Yeah, sure. I'll take a second and breathe. And then 48 hours later, I'm like, I don't even know why I wanted to buy that. It was just silly. I just wanted to buy something. So yeah, I agree with that. Except for I'm one-upping you 2024 me. 2024 was waiting to buy things. 2025 me has just accepted that I don't need anything else. I have everything that I need for this stage of my life. I don't need anything. So I'm not buying anything this whole year. We'll see how that goes. Good luck, me. I think I can do it. I think I can. Okay, number 7, cut off rotten people. You guys have seen that picture that's circulating around the internet of like the 2 strawberries, and one strawberry is rotting, and then the other strawberry is just innocently there, but now it's also rotting because it was touching the strawberry that was rotting. That's exactly what I mean. If you are surrounded by people that do not have your back, if you're surrounded by people that want you to fail, maybe they're vocalizing it, maybe they're not. Maybe it's under their breath. Maybe it's behind your back. Maybe they don't want you to succeed. Maybe they're jealous of you, etc., etc. You deserve to have people around you that are lifting you up, not bringing you down. And I think that, if you surround yourself with people that are just not really working towards the same things as you, then it might slow you down. So I'm not telling you to cut off everybody or even cut off people just because you don't agree with some of the things that they do, but just be selective and maybe see where you can divide your time. Maybe you don't want to spend all of your time with said person anymore. And that's okay. That's up to you. That's your decision to make. Number 8, stop caring about things you can't control. I want to order the book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I'm an avid Mel Robbins consumer. I love her podcast. I really want to read this book because I think that this is something that would benefit me a lot and probably a lot of you as well. I'm going to do some promo for Mel Robbins right now. The Let Them Theory is essentially just letting people do what they're going to do. Just let them do what they're going to do. And then letting yourself control the way that you react to it. I think that even without reading the book, I need to implement this in my life. If somebody does something that bothers me, I let them. I might not agree with it. I might be able to say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea, but that's really all that's in my control. After that, all I can control is the way that I react to it. All of my power is in my reaction. That's it. That's all I've got. And I think that that's something I really, really want to work on this coming year. If I don't agree with my friend, if my partner and I, whatever, it's just, I let them. If you hand in a job application somewhere, you staying up at night wondering if they're going to pick you is not going to make them pick you. They're going to do what they're going to do. That's out of your control now. Someone cuts me off on the highway. Okay, I'm pissed. That's rude. Be a better driver. But I'm not going to freak out about it and let it ruin my whole day. There's so many things that go on that we cannot control. That's something I really need to work on this year. 2024, me, she tried. And 2025, me is going to keep trying. We're still working on that one. That's a work in progress. And that's okay, because we're always a work in progress. Number 9, accept your body. That's what 2024 me said. I'm going to broaden it to accepting your current state. So that can either be your current physique, your current mental state, all of it. She was focused on your body. I think she was going through some body image issues 11 months ago. But I think now, almost a year later, I'm going to expand that. Accept your current state. I think that there's a lot of things that, we want to change ourselves so badly. We want to grow. We want to expand. We want to be better, but we are unable to accept where we are right now. And I think that that is a huge part of it. How can you plan a hike if you can't even figure out where you're starting from? How can you plan a road trip if you don't even know where you are? How can you get to your destination if you don't even know where you're starting? So I think that if you have a goal, maybe it's big, maybe it's small, whatever it might be, I think you really need to take a second and kind of just debrief yourself on yourself. Where am I? How am I feeling? Do I like where I am? Are there things that I like about where I am? Are there things that I want to keep? What are the things that I want to change? What are the things I want to let in going forward? What are the things I want to get rid of going forward? You can't plan a road trip without knowing where you're starting. That's just impossible. The last thing that I had said in 2024, number 10, was to chase happiness. I think that, if you listen to my whole story of my life, I think that I took that leap of faith. I knew what I wanted to do, or at least what my next step was. And I knew that taking that step was going to be terrifying. It was going to be terrifying, but I did it because I was chasing happiness. I saw myself in this version of me, and I wanted it. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be fulfilled in my work. I wanted to be excited to go to work. I wanted to build a community of like-minded people. I wanted to be surrounded by people that were actively choosing to better themselves and better the people around them. I just wanted it so bad, and I did it. Dude, I'm not done yet, but I did it. You're more than whatever you feel that you are right now. You deserve more. This is your life. And I think we only get one of them. So make sure that whatever you're doing, it's making you happy, or it is at least a stepping stone to what you know will make you happy, because you deserve that. You deserve that. So 2024 me, she got me here, and now I'm here, and I'm sending love back to her. That was, I feel like I'm time traveling. So on this show, we're going to talk about all the good stuff and uncover all the tools that you need to be the greatest version of you, because you deserve just that. And I'm so thankful to have spent this time talking to you. And I hope that you took something out of this conversation this week. I'm going to be releasing a newsletter during the week, summing up everything that we talked about in these episodes. So if you didn't get the chance to watch the episode all the way through, or you just need a gentle reminder through the week, it'll be there for you. If you want to be added to this newsletter, you can contact me via the link in the show notes, and we'll get you signed on. I'll find a way to streamline this process, but that's okay. We're growing. We're starting from scratch here. So if you're on Spotify, comment your favorites, hit down below, leave a rating, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single time an episode drops. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. You know the business. You know the drill. Again, I cannot thank you enough for spending this time with me. I believe in you, and I'll be back next week with more tools to help you build you.